We reached the end of another week here on Friday in our weekly feature, #YWPI, and we get to meet some of our student athletes and find out what brought them to Worcester. And with us today is Kat Reynolds of the volleyball team. Kat, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you're up in New Hampshire, and we connect with you, and we decide to recruit you. Take us through the process. Did you recruit us? Did we recruit you? How did you first hear about WPI?
I first heard about WPI through my mom. She's originally from Western Mass. So when I was going through the process of looking for schools, WPI came up because I was very interested in sciences all throughout high school. So I did a tour and info session with her. And then in terms of recruiting, I met up with the coach at a club volleyball tournament a couple months later, and it kind of just hit it off from there.
Perfect. And what got you interested? What was it about WPI that put us right in the mix? Was there
yeah, so I think the initial info session for me, I really loved the project-based learning and classes. And one thing for me also was the IQP opportunity during junior year. So the humanitarian IQP, applying what you've learned with different majors, that really drew my attention, and it was something that's very unique to WPI.
Let's get it out of the way first. What's your number one choice to go away? So you're a sophomore.
I'm a sophomore.
So
yes.
Now you start the process of preparing your site selection. When do you find out where you go away?
We find out actually in less than a month, on the 22nd of December.
And if I had to ask you right now what your number one choice is, would you reveal it?
I think it's between Morocco and Copenhagen for me.
And is that C and D term, I assume? C or
yes,
D?
I think they're both D term.
Because of volleyball, obviously, it's very difficult to go away A and B term. And then you have a somewhat unique path going away to college. The going away part wasn't unique to you. So you did go to boarding school for high school. Mm-hmm. So do you think that helped in the transition? Do you think being away from home made the recruiting process easier or harder?
I think being away from home made the transition to a college environment a lot easier. In terms of classes and everything, I mean, WPI is a very challenging school. It's very fast paced. So I think already being able to adjust to living on my own and living in a dorm made the academic transition easier. I think the social transition also played a factor. I mean, I knew how to live with roommates because I'd already done it for 4 years. So I think that aspect of it also helped me adjust to college.
Great. Do you remember either your first time on campus or your first practice or your first orientation, your first class? Is there something that stands out in any of those events?
So I think it was my second visit to campus. I actually attended a practice and I was just watching. But I think watching the girls on the team interact with each other, the captains, all of that really, really reminded me of just like a level up from my high school, a level up from my club. And I already felt like I could fit in there.
Now, as a sophomore, let's look back at your first year experience from last year. Weren't planning a worldwide pandemic to interrupt a D term, but can you talk about the first 3 terms in particular, what that experience was like?
I think it was awesome. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get playing time. So obviously that helps anyone's experience. But even the practices, I mean, the practices were what I would look forward to. We always had a great time. But we were also very productive. Coach always had a game plan, like scheduled out practices. But it was really the girls that made it fun. Some of my best friends are on the team. That was the everyday in A and B term was what I really looked forward to. And in C term, I also really did enjoy the True North lifts. We still had lifts 3 days a week, and we had an open court 1 day a week. So that was also really nice to be able to see the girls in a different setting, lift with them, challenge each other. But we still got to play with each other once a week.
And then with the volleyball, the other side is the academic. Talk about weaving the two together.
Excuse me, can you repeat that?
Sorry, talk about weaving the two together, being able to balance the academic and athletic load.
Yeah, it was a challenge. Again, WPI, you're taking 3 classes for 7 weeks, so it's very fast paced. A lot of times, a lot of the girls on the team would do homework on the bus, to and from games and stuff like that. In terms of balancing my time, I found it fairly easy, and that could be because of the transition from a boarding school, but I think that in the long run, everyone on the team kind of learned how to do it in their own way.
What have you experienced here at WPI that you didn't expect when you were making that decision 2 years ago? Hopefully something good, but
I know, I'm trying to think about that one. I mean, I personally, in my boarding school, my roommates were always kind of like friends, but not my best friends. But my roommates here really ended up being some of my best friends on campus. And it's really great because they were also semi-random. One of them I had never even talked to before getting here. So I think that was the biggest surprise for me, and it was definitely a good surprise.
Perfect. And we talked about it a little bit, the fast pacedness of the 7-week terms. You love it and you hate it all kind of at the same time. Is that the best way to explain it?
I love it. I think that it gives you a chance to focus on a few things at a time. I mean, obviously, within a week and a half for some classes, you have your first test, so that's a little stressful. But I think that the structure of the 4 terms really lets you to take as many classes as you can. Like, it really optimizes the classes that you're able to take in your 4 years here. And so far, I've really enjoyed it.
Kat, thank you for sharing your story of why WPI. We're glad you chose WPI, and it sounds like you are too.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you.